The Disney Cruise Line is an incredible vacation destination, and when thinking about going to your first ever Disney cruise, one huge question always comes to mind. Is Disney cruising right for me? Now, there are a lot of factors that do play into this question, and also a lot of concerns that some people have when thinking about going on their first ever cruise. Now, today I did want to address some of those concerns, just talk about them, kind of maybe ease up some concerns, just give you some information and help you answer the question as to whether or not cruising is right for you. Now, at the moment, I would say that the biggest concern for everyone is COVID. So because of the coronavirus pandemic, the entire cruising industry has been put at a halt. And there's also a CDC conditional sail order that kind of lays out the framework and the guidelines in order to get cruising back up and running. I did talk about all of this. I went into depth into it. If you would like to look at that video, I'm going to put it right here in the I button or linked in the description below. But in terms of the Disney cruise ships themselves, we actually don't have that much information as to what they're going to do. But one thing that I know about the Walt Disney Company is that they always prioritize guest safety over everything else. So I know that Disney's going to do everything possible to make sure that all the guests are safe. They're going to lay out the correct guidelines and just make sure that everyone is safe, from crew to guests, just everyone on board. I know for a fact Disney's going to do everything right in order to ensure their safety, and they're going to do it in a magical way. They're going to make sure that we still have the activities that there always are, and just lay out everything correctly so that everyone can have an enjoyable cruise. Now, what are those exact guidelines and criteria and all of that? We don't know just yet. We're going to get a glimpse into what cruising from the United States could look like starting in July, when the Disney Magic does start to sail out of the UK. Now, Disney announced that there were going to be Disney cruises sailing from the UK for UK passengers only. It's just going to sail around the island, go to different areas in the United Kingdom. And I feel like that's going to give us a glimpse as to what Disney is planning on doing on all their ships, including the ones that are going to set sail here from the United States. So if you have any concerns as to what cruising is going to look like or what Disney is going to do on board their ships because of the coronavirus pandemic, just keep an eye on those sailings that are going to happen from the UK in July. I think it's going to give us a lot of information as to what the Disney Cruise Line is going to do, and most likely I'll be making a video about it. But if you still have a lot of concerns because of the pandemic and because of the virus and all of that, I do suggest kind of waiting a little bit until you're more comfortable with traveling and cruising and all of that, because the Disney Cruise Line is supposed to be a very relaxing vacation, and if you're stressed, it kind of kills the whole purpose of the vacation. So if you do have a lot of concerns, if I were you, I would maybe hold off for just a little bit, wait for a little while longer until everything starts to kind of go back to normal, and then go on your first ever Disney cruise and truly experience the magic on board. Now, let's say that everything goes back to normal, COVID is done for, we're back to normal. What is the next biggest concern that people have? And in my opinion, I think that a lot of people think about seasickness. Now, this was a huge concern for me and my family. Stepping on board the Disney Cruise Line was the first time I ever stepped on a boat before. It was the first time ever, so I didn't know how my body was going to react to the ocean. And I'm not going to lie, the first time that we set sail, right, the first day and first night there, I felt the boat moving. Like, I will never forget, we first went to the Walt Disney Theater for our first show, right? And sitting in the chair, I just felt this. I felt it. But then after that, like the next day, I didn't feel it much. Like, you really do grow sea legs, like, no lie. Your body gets used to the waves and the boat moving and all of that. But sometimes you can get some choppier seas, like when we were in Jamaica. Those seas were pretty intense. We were in the atrium. I was looking out a porthole, and then I see, oh, look at the sky. Then the ocean. Then the sky. The ship was like this. It was pretty insane. But I personally didn't get hit with any seasickness on our 7 nights on board. My mom did, though. The day that we went to Palo Brunch, I think it was our 6th day there, my mom did get hit with some seasickness. She couldn't enjoy Palo Brunch because of it. So it's on a person-to-person basis. It depends on how your body reacts. Like, if you are prone to motion sickness, I would take caution when going on a Disney cruise. Now, if you're not that prone to motion sickness, let's just say that you could ride Mission Space, no problem whatsoever, then maybe it's not that big of a concern for you. But for everyone, I do suggest taking motion sickness medication on board. You could find some over the counter. You could do any other things. Like, I think there are bracelets that help with motion sickness. I'm not sure how those work, but there are a lot of things that do help. And if you're prone to motion sickness and you're scared that you're gonna get seasick, I do suggest taking some medication, taking all the steps necessary to ensure that you don't get seasick and you could fully enjoy the cruise. Another thing, I would also refrain from sailing when the seas are choppier. So in the winter months, December, January, and February, that's when you're gonna find the most intense waves out there. Like, for example, we went in December and we got some pretty choppy waves, but it does get worse than that. Like in January and February, that's when you get hit the hardest with those waves and the currencies and all of that. So I do suggest maybe going in the spring and summer months in order to prevent, you know, those choppier seas. So I feel like there are a lot of steps that you could take in order to ensure that you don't get hit with seasickness on board. And trust me, it does suck if you do get motion sick. I saw what it did to my mom. But if you can prevent that, you're gonna have an incredible vacation on board the Disney ship. Now, another concern that I also personally had and that my mom had, and I still had when we were on board the ship, was the nothingness of the open seas. Now, just the thought of, you know, being out there in the middle of the ocean with nothing around you, it was a scary thought before stepping on board. And it was still a scary thought. Like, we were sailing away, we saw the ship leaving the coast of Florida. I'm like, we're gonna be in open seas very soon. That's gonna be terrifying. But I'm not gonna lie, that thought kind of went away quickly, and it actually became pretty relaxing. Just like sitting down, watching the sun and the waves. Sunsets, by the way, in the open seas, absolutely beautiful. The most beautiful sunsets that you are going to see are gonna be in the middle of the ocean on board a cruise. It is so amazing. It was beyond beautiful, and you just can't help like getting a plate of chicken nuggets from Flo's VA Cafe, sitting by a window and just staring out into the sea, eating those chicken tenders. Now, another concern that people might have is the crowd size on board. And trust me, I understand it is a valid concern to have because you are fitting thousands and thousands of people on board one single ship. And you would think that you're going to be bumping into people, there's not going to be a lot of space. But really, throughout the day, you don't really see that many people. Now, when you're talking about the more major events like the sailing away party, the pirate night, things like that, that is when you are going to see a higher level of crowds. You're going to have like all the people basically wanting to watch the more popular shows. But there were times where I was like in the adult only section, and me and my family, we were by ourselves. I mean, it was empty. We went to go do some events, like we did charades and trivia, and it wasn't that packed. So yes, there are thousands of people on board the cruise. If I'm not mistaken, the capacity for the Disney Fantasy and the Disney Dream is 4,000 people. So yeah, you have a lot of people on board, but you're not really going to bump into a lot of people. Now, you will be seeing the same people over and over again for like 7 days or however long your cruise is. You do see them, and then you start to recognize them. I had people like approaching me saying, hey, I've seen you like walk around. I've seen you with that camera over and over again. What's going on? And, you know, I just explained my channel and all of that. But you do see the same people over and over again. You start to get to know them. You start to get to know the crew on board. It's a lot of fun. Now, the last concern that I want to talk about, well, the last two concerns, I'm going to kind of combine it into one because I feel like I could answer both of them at the same time. And this is my personal favorite concern to address. Is it worth the money? And is it as magical as Walt Disney World? Now, you're going to be paying Disney prices on the Disney cruise. It is more expensive than other more popular cruise lines. You're going to be paying more to step on board a Disney ship than you would be paying to step on board a Royal Caribbean ship, a Norwegian Cruise Line ship, a Carnival ship. You're paying more. But with that being said, it is 100% worth it. Yes, it's more expensive, but it is such an incredible vacation. Now, me and my family, we've been going to Walt Disney World our entire lives. Me, I've been an annual pass holder, I think, 15 years now? I've been a DVC member for 12, 13 years. So I've been going to Walt Disney World my entire life. And it's an incredible place. It's a magical place. Every single time that I go, I have like this feeling inside that I don't find anywhere else. And it will always have a special place in my heart. But with that being said, the Disney Cruise Line, in my opinion, is another level of vacation than in Walt Disney World. Because it is very hard to beat the cruise. It is absolutely amazing. Is it as magical as Walt Disney World? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And watch out is not even more magical than Walt Disney World. I didn't think that that was possible, but the way that I experienced the cruise and the feeling that I got there, it was like nothing I've ever experienced before. It was absolutely incredible. It's everything that you could experience. First off, the ship itself is beyond beautiful. It's stunning. You first walk into the atrium and you're like, oh my god. And then the thought, like, when I first stepped in there, right, I've always wanted to go on a Disney cruise. So I'm walking in there, we're in Port Canaveral, we're like checking in and we're like, oh my god, it's almost here, it's almost here, it's almost here. And then we're walking down that tunnel that takes you to the entrance and you're like, and then you finally walk in, you see the atrium, they say your name, oh, please welcome aboard the Ortaceño family, right? Oh my god, that was a feeling that I don't think I've ever gotten before. I was about to cry right there in the atrium, I'll tell you that. But then we went and we had such an incredible vacation. We had incredible food. The dining on board the cruise ship is remarkable. At the sit-down restaurants for dinner, you're gonna have incredible food items. At Cabanas, you're gonna have some of the best breakfast and lunch items ever. You can find some of the best chicken tenders ever. It's a lot. Now, I did make a 2-part video talking about everything that you could find on board the Disney Cruise Line. You could also find those videos right here in the I button or linked in the description below. There's a lot to do on board the ship, and when you're checking out your app on the phone, or maybe you just have the personal navigator with you, you're looking through that and you're seeing all the amazing activities that you could do, and you are going to have an incredibly magical time. Now, if you are a planner like me, like I love planning my vacations, if you're a planner like me, just keep this in mind. You cannot plan out your Disney cruise vacation because you don't know what activities there are going to be. Now, this was driving me insane before going because I'm like, okay, I want to do some of these things, but I don't know what there is. I don't know what's going to happen throughout the day. What am I going to do? But once I stepped on board, man, done. I didn't care about that anymore because you go on your app, you see all the activities that there are going on throughout the day, and you're like, you know what, I want to do this, I want to do that. And the best part is everything that you want to do is going to be close to you. I mean, the most you're going to walk is like 10-15 minutes. Now, it is a big ship, I'll tell you that, but you're not going to be walking that much. You can make it to an activity. Let's say the chip it golf in the atrium. Maybe you want to watch a movie at the Lake Buena Vista Theater. You go for it. There's so much to do. You're going to have an incredibly magical vacation. I could guarantee it, and I promise you, it is 100% worth the money. I cannot wait to be back to my next cruise. Hopefully, this year in October, I get to go back because I can't wait to be back. So now, is the Disney Cruise Line right for you? I'm sorry, but that is not something that I can answer. That is something that you're going to have to answer for yourself. What I wanted to do with this video is just give you some information and help address some of the concerns that happen, and kind of just give you some advice and just kind of show you how I felt and how I addressed all those concerns personally, because it's on a person-to-person basis. It all depends on you. Now, with that being said, if you do decide to go to a Disney cruise, I guarantee that you are going to have an incredibly magical time. The first day that you step in there, you're going to have an incredible vacation. You're going to have that sailing away party. I'll tell you this though, that sailing away party, that song is going to be stuck in your head for months. There are still times, like now, I went a year and a half. There are just times where I just get that, we are sailing away. It just like seeps into my mind, and then I have it stuck in my head for another day. It's funny, and I can't wait to see that again, like live in person. Everything about the cruise is magical. Everything. And I guarantee that you are going to have an incredible vacation, and I just guarantee it. If you do go, you're gonna have a great vacation, but it is up to you to decide whether cruising is right for you. Well, if you have any other concerns that you would like me to address, leave it in the comments below. Also, let me know what you think about the Disney Cruise Line. I would love to hear from you. Also, if you enjoyed today's video, smash that like button and hit subscribe. I upload a brand new video every Wednesday and a new video game video every Friday. Thank you for being part of the Disney family, and see you real soon.